I'm delighted to welcome my mate Des Fafara to Mosh Talks for the first time. Des, how are you, brother?
How are you, brother? Good to see you, my man.
Likewise. So we're here to talk about part one of a two-part Devildriver record, Dealing with Demons. How did you come to, because it feels like the Devildriver double album has been in the offing for some time. Was it a case of a lot of material or a theme that deserved a broader canvas? How did we arrive at this stage?
I think we have both. I think that after Trust No One, I knew I wanted to do a double record. I knew I wanted to move forward lyrically, and the way to do that was to do as much as I can in the style that I do now. But also, I knew that we wanted to release a double record, staggered release, one a year, and we wanted to do the world twice. So that was the whole premise: is let's put out a record, let's tour the world twice, let's come back home after that, take a nice long break. Now I've been home a year. So the longest I've ever been home. And then also Dealing with Demons was, I'm talking about some very personal stuff. So if you've ever interviewed me before, which you have, I don't really like to talk about what the songs are about, because if it got through you through a hard time, and it's, you think it's about a sunny day, I don't want to tell you it's about a rainy day.
Yeah, of course.
But this one I'm getting very personal with, and going through my own demons, what I've faced. And I started with the most personal thing that I go through, which is terrible agoraphobia. I've been social distancing my whole life. So thus we had Keep Away From Me come out. And, volume 2 is actually my baby, but Keep Away From Me and Wishing were on volume 1. So, we were going to put that out first, and good thing we did, because Keep Away From Me has been it stayed at number 1 on the metal chart for 10 weeks. And now it's still only number 2 or number 3. It's incredible what how people have been taken to this stuff. So I'm really happy at this time,
Delighted to hear it, man. What led you to get more personal this time out? Like, what was going on in your life that made you decide to not be ethereal, to not be about the wider world? What made you get personal, man?
It was me saying to myself, okay, if you followed me for a long time, and I've had a long career, I'm extremely grateful and humbled by it. The way to kind of pay that back is say, okay, here's a piece of me. And the biggest piece of me I could give at this point right now is the song Keep Away From Me, letting you know that, like, hey, man, you may identify with me. And a lot of people do actually on social media have been talking to me about that if I get in a room more than 4 or 5 people, or you invite me to the Grammy Awards party, like, I'm not coming. It's just not something I'm into. I tend to revert back into a small space. I don't enjoy fame. I don't like being popular or unpopular, whatever it is. But I think at this point it was time to do that. And then lyrically, I really want to move forward from what I've been talking about since I was 15, 16 in bands, which is kind of the human element: love, hate, loyalty, disloyalty. I want to go somewhere else, and the only way to do that was to do a double record. Thank God Napalm was behind us and backed it to its core, and now people are really online. I'm really enjoying the comments. It's been crazy.
And so with something like Keep Away From Me, like with you leading with that, do you think that you particularly, because you've had such a lengthy career and because it's had so many different facets to it, and you've found yourself in those situations that clearly made you uncomfortable, those more limelight style situations, like we've all had to do them no matter how we feel about them, because you've been there and you've done that, what is it at this point in time that made you feel that was a statement worth making? Because looking a little bit under the hood, like, it feels like in a world where everything's on all of the time and everyone has access to you all of the time, like, it feels like a quite poignant statement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I'm more private than most. I'm probably one of the most private guys in this industry, let alone metal, but in the industry. So people don't have a lot of access. I mean, even on this record, I'm doing few interviews and podcasts and only doing actually what I want, without the label going, hey, man, come on, we've got to push this thing. So look, I just felt like it's time to get personal. It's time to talk about some things. Iona, which is the second track that we released, kind of goes over like, why do we run home from work at night to watch murder porn, CSI? You know, why when I ask you what your favorite horror movie is, it's, you know, Chainsaw Massacre when he plainly kills, you know, 12 women or whatever in that, right? Like, let's have dialogues about these things. I released Nest of Vipers, which is about loyalty and how it can be bought and sold in business and friendship, and how we should remain away from those types of people. Wishing came out today with my first clean vocal ever in Devildriver's history, because I don't like the metalcore chorus kind of thing. It actually really sours me. So the verses are very Bauhausy sisters, which is where I come from. I'm a goth punk rock kid that found metal through Motorhead. Otherwise, that's where I am. If you're in my car, I'm listening to punk or goth, or that's where I'm at. It just felt like, let's do something that has some talking points. And if you're used to interviewing me and I'm going, well, I'm not going to tell you what that song is about, that gets old. So let's get really personal. Let's get personal over these two records, and let's have talking points between people. So you can go home and say, hey, did you hear what Dez said about Iona, the second single they released? He's really exploring why, maybe it's a girl talking to her boyfriend, why you watch Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween, the movie Halloween with Michael Myers, all day long, when it's a guy in a mask with a knife killing women. Like, what is this? Right? So I want some talking points. I want to be able to have dialogue. I mean, look around the world right now, especially in America, we need more dialogue. So if it's about music or whatever it is, let's have conversations.
I like that, Des. I like that. Especially, like, we are 2.5 years away, fucking insanely. We're 2.5 years away from 20 years of Devildriver. That blows my fucking mind, Des. But like, do you think that that's a testament to the artist that you are, that we are 9 albums deep and that you are just putting yourself out there in a clean vocal way and doing it in a way, because I get the same. I come out in hives with that saccharine clean vocal size. Like, I was talking to Alex from Whitechapel yesterday, and I think they've done a really tasteful job of making that vocal really melancholic and dark and sinister. Was that important to you, that you didn't become one of those bands?
Look, if I'm listening to Sirius XM liquid metal, which obviously I do every time I'm driving, and I hear a band comes on and there's a really heavy verse and then some metalcore chorus, nice and clean to get on the radio, I turn it off.
Gotcha.
It's important for me to not, like, there is a certain thing when it's like sellout or this or that. There is a certain aspect with that. I think that part and parcel what you said in the beginning, which thank you for, talking about the career, but, Devildriver actually got together in late 99, 2000 and started doing demos. So we're actually on now our 21st year. I think it's not the fact of what I'm doing. I think it's what I've done with I've only had one major lineup change in all that amount of time. I think it's what the musicians have done behind me. And then it's the people that follow that allow us to do our jobs and to do us what we do. I mean, for me, I'm grateful every day, man. I'm humbled by having such a long career. And there's still that thing with me where I'm very competitive. I don't want to let people down. I want to do what's right, but I do want to make changes. I mean, a very rare thing is when a band's been around 10, 20 years, and this will come back to what you were talking about. It's very rare for a singer to say, hey, on the next record, absolutely do not want you focusing on the previous records. Do not want you focusing on what the label wants. Don't want you focusing on the brand, on Coca-Cola. Do not want you focusing on the sound. I want you to go forward. If I just met you today, what would we do? If I used all my influences, is why you got cleans, because in Cold Chamber, it was like half clean, half heavy. I said, if we all met today, what kind of music would we make? Now, that could have gone terribly.
Interesting.
That could have gone terribly sour, and especially with a double record. Because if the first double record hadn't spent 10 weeks at number one, is getting 9 out of 10s, and what it's getting, thankfully, the second record would have been nigh done. So when I got the first songs from the guys, I said, okay, not only am I surrounded by incredible talent, but now I'm getting them, not trying to concentrate on what Devildriver does, but concentrate on what they do. So like me and Mike, we really bond on goth and industrial stuff. Neil has his whole other thing. Austin has his whole other thing. Like, everybody really vibes on different styles of music. That's what makes Devildriver what we are. I don't want to fit in. I don't want you to be able to categorize us, and you really can't. It's why people started calling us groove metal, and then a lot of bands started to rip that off. And now you've got a lot of our, I hate the word fans. It fucking sucks. But a lot of the people that listen to our music, excuse me, they hashtag dark groove because they understand I'm more of a goth punk guy. So now they've started to hashtag this dark groove thing. And I'm like, now you guys got it. Like you got it. Like you finally get it. So yeah, it's just incredible to see what's happening right now. There's a lot of love for what's happening. And it could have gone terribly fucking awry. You know?
Like you mentioned the dreaded S word of sellout. Now you come from a punk background, right? Like in 2020, what does that term even mean today? Because it's a term that you hear so much less these days. I wondered, like, what represents selling out to you in 2020?
It's more of a. Let me give you an aspect, not discussing music, but if a painter is a well-known painter and he finds out he can use red and blue in his paintings and sell triple the amount, so he skews his vision of his paintings and starts using red and blue. That's what's selling out, right? I love all music, first of all, right? So I listen to jazz, blues, goth, punk. It doesn't matter. I love all music. But there is a certain thing, especially within our genre, which is very small, metal, that when you do something that's fervently against the grain to get to a wider audience and it doesn't fit what you do naturally, that for me, that for me is that word, really. You know,
I agree. I agree entirely.
I don't see a ton of it. I don't. I see it more in bands that started out heavy and now they have these heavy verses and a lot of clean metalcore choruses. And it's, if it's not,
I do.
It needs to be violent, vicious, dark, and visceral for me. Otherwise, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out. Now that's only in metal, man. That's obviously I'm not going to say that if I'm listening to Blue Hawaii by fucking Elvis on my vinyl player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the other thing that I wanted to return to that you were saying that's super interesting is, like, you're quite right that you were at the forefront of what was going on with groove metal, and now there's this dark groove thing, and you've just come off the back of a country covers record, and now there's a double album. Like,
which is crazy. Go ahead.
Do you think that is testament to how much credit you give your fans? Because, like, from the outside looking in, that's a super bizarre trajectory. But I think it's almost like you credit your fans enough to go, Devildriver is wherever we drive this car.
So let's go to the Outlaw Country cover record. I had the guy who first signed me actually back in the day call me and go, don't do that. That's going to ruin your career. I had several other people, don't put Outlaw Country and metal together. You're going to fuck up everything. And I said, really? Those lyrics are more violent and visceral than anything I've heard in metal. Those guys are so fucking real when you talk about the real Outlaw Country guys. If you go on a tour bus, go on Cannibal Corpse's bus. Go find out what go find out what Corpse Grinder's listening to at 3 a.m. He's listening to Hank 3. So when you get like John Carter Cash, Johnny Cash's son, Randy from Lamb of God, and me on a song doing Ghost Riders and do it heavy, it seemed like, and when you tell me I can't do something, you're going to get that from me. Now, that could have fucking horribly failed.
Yeah.
But when you're working with Leaving from Fear and all these guests on this, that could have horribly failed. That came out charted. That did really well. I had a lot of people call me and actually say, man, we were wrong. And I said, look, A, don't tell me I can't do something. B, don't tell me what to do. So I think it's important to like come out of pocket and do what's never been done and what's different. Now in that amount of time, Marilyn Manson has come out and covered a Cash song. So somebody's watching. I'm in my own pigeonhole. I don't watch what anybody else does. Sorry, I just don't. I don't give a fuck.
Of course.
He's come out covering Cash. Korn just did Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah, Nickelback too.
Well, I don't pay attention to them. Good songwriters, like, right? I'm not hating. Good songwriters. Yeah, of course. I don't hate on anyone, right? And especially even like a guy that's heavy that goes, more radio. I don't hate on that, right? But what I am saying is I don't really watch what other people do. It's obvious to me after seeing Manson cover Cash and Korn come out and cover, fucking Devil Went Down to Georgia. Somebody's watching somebody. So I'm glad, A, I broke that open. B, let's hear more of it. I love when shit comes together. That's what made you know, let's talk about it. That's what made Cold Chamber, System, Korn, Deftones. That's what made early new metal happen so badass. Fucking Slipknot, who you work for, right?
Yeah.
That's what made everything happen, because people fucking slammed together their loves of music.
Shout out to Snot as well. I've got to get it in there before. Yeah.
Bro, I was going through my fucking garage yesterday. I'm using this time to like clean my fucking house out. Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I got 500 black t-shirts. Here, take my kid, put them on eBay. I'm fucking done. Right? But I'm going through my shit. I found a Snot, a Deftones, a System of a Down, and a Korn, and a Cold Chamber original fucking tapes, demos yesterday. And I told my wife, this is insane. Like, I haven't gone down memory lane. I haven't had time, first of all, to go down memory lane in fucking 20 fucking something years. So if I have, you know, I'm off, obviously. And we just started cleaning my garage, and it's interesting. I have 3 sons, all in their 20s, and it's interesting to get in these big bins of shit and go, look at this. And like, you're pulling out covers and you're pulling out stuff, but shout to Snot, a great Snot story. Here's a great Snot story. When Snot first came to town, it was at the Roxy, and I was at the Roxy, and I met Lynn Strait, and they were just starting to kind of blow up. Keep in mind, the strip was dead. Cold Chamber was selling out the Roxy, the whiskey. Korn even was like bussing people up to fill clubs. The scene was done, okay, up there. I meet Lynn, and we had a very like a thing about LA, like, we're from LA, man, get the fuck out of here, right? And I met Lynn, I was like, why don't you get the fuck out of here? Why don't you go back? And funny, because I ended up moving to Santa Barbara later. Why don't you go back to Santa Barbara? And he goes, instead, why don't we go in the car, smoke a joint, do a shot, and be friends? And from then on, the relationship fucking bloomed. And I really look up to that dude. Look, there's a lot of frontmen that I look to and go, okay, you're so fucking badass. Like, I have no fear. If you go on before me or after me, even now, I have no fucking fear. As a matter of fact, you better fear. I'm coming for you. When that stops, I'm out, right? Lynn from Snot, unreal. Mitch Luker from Suicide Silence, God rest his soul.
Yes.
Fucking unreal. I played 2 nights with them in London, at 2 nights in a row. And the first night, that kid, and you got to be humble. The first night, that kid took me to the fucking bank so hard, it was like I was fucking put in my place. Now, I went up and told him, homeboy, you took me to the fucking bank tonight. The next night, I took him hard to the bank, and he came up to me. He goes, bro, you fucking upped your game. I said, no, I didn't up my game. You made me up my game. You're fucking half my age. You made me up my game. So you got to have this mentality of like, give the fucking devil his due. So when you talk about Lynn Strait, it's hard for me. A, because what an insane front man, and B, a life cut fucking short way too fucking early.
Nah. Same with Mitch as well. Mitch was one of the only people that fucking, like, me and him have never hidden our love for nu metal. I know it goes through waves where it's okay to like it and it's not okay to like it. Me and Mitch were always fuck that shit. And every time we hung out, it was, mate. Anyway.
I did a really long podcast with actually Rob Flynn, and we started talking about a lot of that stuff, right? I think, and I'll tell you my truth about it. The later bands that came in on our scene, I fucking couldn't stand them. So you know plainly who they are. So after System, after Static, after Deftones, after Korn, after Cold Chamber, those later bands, and even after Biscuit, those later bands that came in, it turned into radio rock. It turned into glamorized fucking radio rock, and I fucking hated it. And it wasn't authentic to me, to be very honest with you. And look, I don't give a fuck. I don't know how much longer I have on this earth. And after my wife went through cancer last year and survived it, now I have a whole new motherfucking outlook on life where, hey, my grandfather died at my age. So I'm going to say exactly what the fuck I feel. And I'm going to do what I feel, and I know you're the same way, man. I mean,
absolutely, mate.
Yeah.
Absolutely, mate. I just want to close out by talking about volume 1 of Dealing with Demons. Yeah. Like, I think it's really bold. And I do wonder, like, this morning, you've got a new track out, right?
Yes.
And you've been doing this for as long as you've been doing this. How do you feel when you put those new songs out now? Like, people have heard Wishing for the first time. Like, how does that affect you after this long? And especially with how it's changed. Like, you used to just get wind of how people felt about it. And now there's a tidal wave of opinion every time you do something. What is that like to be on the receiving end of this far in?
Yeah, oh man, like if I said to you, come on, Beez, like I don't even give a fuck. It's a normal day. Bullshit.
Yeah. No, exactly.
I was up at 4 a.m. I mean, well, we're managers. We're in the office at 5 a.m. no matter what, anyways. Which is great because I never saw the sun on tour ever. I've been home for a year. My thing is to watch the sun come up. But I was up since 4 a.m. and it's unbelievable, the response. Unbelievable. And especially since like I said, I'm heavily influenced by Bauhaus, Sisters of Mercy, that kind of shit. To be able to put that into what I'm doing with Devildriver and do something different that people have, the first thing that they normally say is, who's singing with you on Wishing?
Right.
Like, nobody.
I love it.
I'm like, nobody, mate, that's me. And by the way, the whole first half of my career, Shock the Monkey, all that stuff, it was me singing clean. So
yeah,
but
true.
It was fun to do. I tried to lay that song, Beez, heavy, high, heavy, screamy, low, brutal, death metal-y almost. It wasn't fucking working. So here's what I realized. You have to give the art what it needs. If the clay that you're molding needs more, put more. Don't try to make do. So when I came in and I told them, look, hit record, and we did, and it turned out like that. I was like, look, no matter what, I'm putting this out. This is what's coming out. We don't know how long we have left on this planet. I don't know how long I'll be making records. I don't know if this double record is my last. Not only because life passes and goes, we never know, but I don't know how much longer. That I have to have a certain drive level. Right now, I'm fucking driven, and that means we've been writing for the last year, bro. Everybody's drop boxes are full. I've got 25 fucking tunes written in a style lyrically that I've never done before because I left it all on the table with Dealing with Demons. And it's interesting to hear this fucking progression. What can you do? What can you do?
You don't seem like a man questioning his band's own mortality. When you talk like that, like when you say that question mark is potentially there, like it's hard to buy into that when you speak that inspired about what you're currently doing.
I can question mortality when I'm bombing a hill on a skateboard with my kids that most 19-year-olds would barely do.
I can believe it.
And then my sons are like, Dad, that was fucking insane. Did you know how fast you're going? It's like, I have a thing that when it stops, I'll stop. If I'm not driven, if I don't feel like I'm on top of my game, I'm not going to release something that's not on top of the game. I'm not going to go on tour unless I'm on top of the game. It came with getting sober. It came with becoming vegan. It came actually with spending way more time with my family, waking up in the middle of the night, holding my wife's hand. That's incredible to me. Making dinner for my kids every day. There's a whole new fucking mindset on how much I'm going to tour, what I'm going to do. It's come back now to the family thing. If we can look all of this in the eye and try to make some good out of it, because most of America is starving. Most of America is having a hard fucking rough time. We've all had a rough time. Every artist we have is having a rough time. If we can look at anything positive, which you know me, Beez, I tend to look at things half fucking glass full.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, man. I could be in cuffs, drowning, know that I'm going to the deep, Davy Jones fucking locker. And I'm like, hey, whatever. Maybe there'll be some cool shit to look at. Right?
I love it, mate. I love it.
Yeah, so if we have a good thing to look at least maybe we've gotten closer with the people around us, or we've gotten away from the people around us and we realize, fuck, I've been trapped with you for a year. I can't stand you. I'm out of here. And
I know that you are turbo secretive on this sort of stuff. I wouldn't dream of digging too much. But on volume 2, are you going to start spinning people the fuck out, Des? It feels like this is the calm before the storm.
It's really crazy. I wanted to release volume 2 first. That's my baby, right? Even the label, it's a heavier record. It's a darker record. Even the label says that. But because Keep Away From Me was on this, it was timely with what we're going through.
Yeah,
Plus,
of course.
It was very personal to me. And Wishing was on this, that I was like, let's give them what's going to spin them out the most. So that's why volume 1 now. But volume 2, man, just trust me on this. That's my baby. I can't wait to give that to people.
And Des, I know you're not doing many interviews, so thanks for taking the time today. And something that's really stood out in this chat, man, is if you've got time in the next sort of couple of weeks or so, come back and we'll do like a long-term interview about you and your career, because it's fascinating shit, man.
No problem, brother. We've just, I've been writing the book for about a year and a half. I have 3 publishers that want in.
Interesting.
And it's
insane. I didn't know this.
Yeah, because as you're writing, you're like, can I throw that person under the bus? Can I say that? Am I going to get sued? And I'm thinking, you can only do an autobiography if it's fucking real and dangerous. And if it's not volatile, visceral, violent, I'm out. So here it comes. And I don't know when it's going to come, but yeah, I've been writing. I'd love to come back with you, Beez. It's great to see your fucking face, mate.
Good stuff, Des. I'm going to cut us off there. Right. Don't forget, October 2nd, new Devildriver. Only part 1, because you're going to have to hang on for part 2, but get involved, get in the description below. We'll leave the link there. We'll see you next time, Des.
Thank you, brother. Have a great day.
Don't forget to like and share this video and join me on Twitch every Tuesday, Friday and Saturday for guest hangouts, new music votes, tier lists, band-specific competitions, weekly merch roundups and much, much more. That's twitch.tv/Mosh Talks. Find the link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and I'll see you on KNOTFEST.com for all of the latest news, features and much more from the worlds of rock, metal and beyond.